Good morning, students. So in today's lecture, we are going to start the second type of epithelium tissue, and that is known as compound epithelium. In the previous chapter, I have taught you about the various types of simple epithelium. As you all know, students, simple epithelium consists of single layer of cells, whereas compound epithelium consists of many layer of cells. Thus, these are the tissues which have multi-layered cells. So here I am going to tell you some important points about the compound epithelium. So compound epithelium is made up of more than one layers. This means they are multi-layered. They do not play any significant role in absorption and secretion because they are made up of so many layers. Therefore, their main role is protection here. So they protect our body from various types of chemical and mechanical stresses that we generally face in our external surroundings. Where these tissues are present, so these tissues, they are generally present beneath our skin. They cover the dry surface of our skin, the moist surface of our buccal cavity, pharynx, the inner lining of various ducts such as ducts of our salivary glands and pancreatic ducts. Okay, student, this is the diagram of the compound epithelium. So here, multi-layered cells are present, and all of these cells, they are arranged in the form of various layers. Okay, student, I am going to tell you a special type of term here, which are known as cell junctions. So what are these cell junctions? So in all type of animal tissues, as we know, in the epithelial tissues, all the cells, they are compactly arranged, they are tightly packed, and they have very little intercellular matrix. So in all animal tissues, for the special type of arrangement of cells, as the cells are tightly packed, these tissues have cell junctions. So what are these cell junctions? These cell junctions are actually the structural and functional links that exist between the various cells of these tissues. So here, students, we have three types of cell junctions that are present in the epithelial tissues and other animal tissues. So these are number one, the tight junctions, number two, the adhering junctions, and number three, the gap junctions. So now I am taking one by one all of these junctions and their functions. Okay, student, the first type of junctions are the tight junctions. So this type of junctions helps to stop the leakage of the substances across a tissue. That's why they are known as tight junctions. Adhering junctions, as the name itself indicate, these type of junctions perform cementing. That means they join together neighboring cells, and in this way, these neighboring cells, they behave as a unit. They are attached with each other. And third type of junctions are known as the gap junctions. So dear students, these gap junctions, they are generally present between adjacent cells, and with the help of these junctions, the cytoplasm of the adjoining cells, they join together, and through this cytoplasm, the transfer of various types of ions, small molecules, and even bigger molecules can take place. So all of these cell junctions, they play a significant role in the animal tissues. Okay, student. Now we are starting the next type of tissues, and these are known as the connective tissues. As the name itself indicate, if they are connective tissues, this means their main function is linkage. They link various organs and tissues of our body, as well as beside these, they also provide support to our various body organs. So all of these connective tissues are widely distributed and abundantly found in our body. And if we are talking about their range, they range from soft to specialized connective tissues. There are various types of specialized connective tissues present, such as blood adipose tissues. We have cartilages, we have bones. All of these are examples of specialized connective tissues. In all of these connective tissues, special type of cells are present, which are known as fibroblasts. And these fibroblast cells, they actually secrete fibers, and these fibers are generally the structural proteins of these tissues, and these structural proteins are called collagen or elastin fibers. Okay, student, these are the types of the connective tissues. So we have three types of connective tissue: loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue, and third category is of specialized connective tissues. As the names itself indicate, loose connective tissue means where the fibers, they are loosely arranged. And in dense connective tissues, these fibers, which are elastin or collagen fibers, they are densely packed. And in the specialized connective tissues, we have blood, we have cartilage, bones, all of these come under specialized connective tissue. Okay, students. Next is a flow chart which shows the classification of the tissues. So here we have divided connective tissues broadly into three major categories. Number one, proper connective tissues. Number two, supporting connective tissues. And number three is fluid connective tissues. So among the proper connective tissues, we have areolar connective tissue, adipose, and then we have fibrous connective tissues. And among the supporting type of connective tissues, we have cartilages and bones, whose main function is to provide support to the body. And third is of fluid connective tissues. These fluid connective tissues are of two types. It may be blood or it may be lymph. Okay, students, I am taking the first category of the connective tissues, and that is the loose connective tissues. As it is found in the diagram, these loose connective tissues, they consist of two things. Number one, fibroblast cells, which secrete certain fibers, and these fiber-like cells are actually the collagen fibers or the elastin fibers. So in these fibers, all of these fibers, they are arranged in a matrix, and this matrix is made up of polysaccharide, which is actually secreted by those cells which produce fibers. Besides fibers, they also produce this polysaccharide, which later form the matrix. So here collagen fibers are visible to all of us, and beside these collagen fibers, there are two other type of cells present in loose connective tissues. These are the macrophages. As the name itself indicates, macro means big and phages means to eat, to engulf. This means these are bigger cells which engulf the foreign substances that enters in our body. And macrophages, beside macrophages, we have mast cells. Mast cells are the special type of cells which produce certain inflammatory responses when our body met with certain accidents or some injuries. Then these mast cells, they produce inflammatory responses in the form of redness of the skin or swelling in certain body parts. So this is the diagram of the loose connective tissue. Now, loose connective tissues, there are some points I have written. So all of the cells and fibers, they are loosely arranged in a semi-fluid ground matrix, and this matrix is actually made up of polysaccharide. So here we have two types of loose connective tissues. Number one, areolar tissue. So this areolar tissue is found beneath our skin, and it serves as a support framework for the epithelial tissue. It contains three types of cells I have already discussed. These are the fibroblast, macrophages, and the mast cells. I have already explained the example of all of these cells. And fibroblasts are actually those cells which secrete fibers, and you know the name of these fibers. These are the elastin and the collagen fibers. Okay, student, the second type of loose connective tissues are the adipose tissues. So this adipose tissue is also located beneath your skin, and cells of these tissues are very much specialized to store fats. So excess of nutrients, if we take, then these excess nutrients, they are later converted into fats, and these fats are stored in the cells of adipose tissues, which are generally known as adipocytes. So their main function is storage of fat. So this is the diagram of the adipose tissue, and here it is the diagram of the areolar connective tissue. So these are the two types of loose connective tissue. One is areolar connective tissue and second is adipose connective tissue. Okay, students, the next category of the connective tissues are the dense connective tissues. As the name itself indicates, all the fibers and the fibroblasts, they are compactly arranged in dense connective tissues. That means all of these fibers, they are compactly arranged means tightly arranged. Okay, on the basis of orientation of fibers, whether all of these fibers, they are arranged in a regular pattern or they are arranged in a irregular pattern, they may be further subcategorized as dense regular connective tissues or dense irregular connective tissues. Okay, students, I am taking the first category, and that is the dense regular connective tissues. So students, all of these dense regular connective tissues, they also consist of collagen fibers, but all of these collagen fibers, they are arranged in rows, and these rows are present between many parallel bundles of the fibers. The examples of dense connective, regular connective tissues are tendons, number one. So these tendons are the type of dense regular connective tissues which actually attach your skeletal muscles with your bones. And beside tendons, we have ligaments. So ligaments are the type of dense regular connective tissues which attach one bone to another bone. So next is dense irregular connective tissue. Again, the dense irregular connective tissue, here the fibroblast cells, they secrete fibers, which are generally the collagen or the elastin fibers. But all of these fibers, see in the picture, they are not arranged in a regular fashion. That's why they are known as the dense irregular connective tissues. And this type of tissues, they are generally present in our skin. Okay, student, now I am starting with the next category, and that is the specialized connective tissues. So students, specialized connective tissues, we have blood, we have cartilage, and we have bones. So one by one, I am going to discuss about all of these. So these are the pictures, which is of blood, and these are the various cells that are present inside the blood. For example, red blood cells, also known as erythrocytes, white blood cells, also known as lymphocytes, and here this is the TS, that is transverse section of a cartilage where hyaline cartilage is present, and the cells of the cartilage, which is known as chondrocytes, and so many cavities or spaces are present which are known as lacunae. So this is the TS of the bones. The bone connective tissue, here also the cells of the bones are known as osteocytes, and certain cavities are present in which these bone cells are arranged. So these cavities, they are known as the lacunae. Alright students, so first of all I am going to discuss about the cartilage. So these cartilage are actually solid, they are pliable, and they have the capacity to resist compression. That means they cannot easily compress. So all of these cells, they are enclosed in small cavities within a matrix, and their cells are known as the chondrocytes. So this cartilage is generally present in the embryo of the vertebrate, but later on in the vertebrate embryo, this cartilage is replaced by the bones. Where this cartilage is present, so it is present at the tip of your nose. All right. At the tip of your nose, outer ear joints, it is also present between adjacent bones of your vertebral column, so that the bones, they cannot rub with each other. Otherwise, you will feel a painful experience. It is also present in the limbs and the hands in adults. Okay, students. So the next is bones. Bones are comparatively hard, but they are non-pliable. They have a ground substance which is rich in calcium salts and collagen fibers. Thus, their strength is more as compared to cartilage. And this bones, which is bone connective tissue, it provides structural framework to our body. These bones not only act as a structural framework of our body, but it also provides support and protect your various softer, delicate organs such as your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, and so many other delicate organs. The cells of these bones, they are known as the osteocytes, and they are present in spaces which are known as lacunae. Skeletal muscles, they are attached with the bones, and by virtue of this, your bones are able to move. So skeletal muscles are helpful in the movement of the bones. So there is a special site that is present in your bones, and that is known as bone marrow. So this bone marrow is actually the mother of cells, various types of cells that are present in your body. These may be the red blood cells, white blood cells. So that's why bone marrow is known as the mother of the cells. And this is present inside the bone tissue. All right. Next one is blood. The last connective tissue that comes under specialized connective tissue is blood. So this blood is fluid in nature. It is a kind of a fluid connective tissue. and it has so many components that are present inside it. For example, its ground substance is known as plasma, and beside plasma, there are various types of cells, such as red blood cells, which are known as erythrocytes, white blood cells, which are known as the leukocytes, and beside white blood cells, we have blood platelets, and these blood platelets are actually known as the thrombocytes, and they play a significant role in sealing our injury when we met with an accident, or we have some minor injuries or cuts in our body. So what is the function of this blood? This blood is not only behaving as a connective tissue, it is the main circulating fluid in your body, and it is involved in the transport of various substances, such as a transport of food materials. And beside this, it is also involved in the transport of various types of gases to the respective cells and tissues, and also in the transport of the excretory. So that's all in today's lecture, students. Have a nice